Welcome to the Tiger Media Network Area Game of the Week Preview Show. I'm Eli Blankinship. Well, last week we had a pretty excellent game. It was a nail-biter all the way to the end. It was a district championship matchup between Hodgman County and Victoria, the state runner-ups from last year. Parker Nisbeth put together an excellent recap, so here is that recap. Live from Victoria, Kansas, it's Tiger Media Network's Area Game of the Week. I'm Eli Blankinship, and for the rest of our crew, thank you for tuning in here with us on Friday Night Lights. Right around a year ago, Victoria fell short in the state final against Axtell. Now, they look to complete a perfect regular season and put themselves at the top of their district, District 6, as they take on Hodgman County this week at home. Victoria this season comes into this game 7-0. Hodgman County in the same boat that are also 7-0. Both of these squads very elite. Weston Shearer leads Victoria along with the quarterback Wyatt Schmidberger. On the other side of the football, Hodgman County led by Gavin Reese, the freshman quarterback. Both of these squads are very talented, have a lot to prove tonight, and have a lot on the line. It's the Longhorns and the Knights next on Tiger Media Network's Area Game of the Week. Taking the snaps tonight for the Longhorns, Gavin Reese, the freshman quarterback. He steps back in the pocket to throw it, fires it to the outside, it's caught! What a catch for Talon Shank! 6:15 left to play. Snap goes to Reese all the way into the end zone! The Longhorns open the scoring! Touchdown, Hodgman County! Pitches it out to Schur. Schur to the outside. Makes a man miss. Another one misses. Into the middle of the field. He's got open field in front of him. He's brought down. He breaks the tackle. Touchdown, Knights! Reese steps back in the pocket. Scrambling. Under pressure. It's a sack. Knights stay in the I formation. Schmidberger, handoff to Schur. Schur lowering the shoulder into the end zone. Touchdown, Knights! One receiver out to the left. Shearer in the backfield. Schmidberger under center. Schmidberger. RPO into the goal line. Touchdown, Victoria! Reese, shotgun formation. Two receivers to the left, one to the right. Drops back to throw it, fires it across the middle. Does he have his man? Yes, he does! Stays on his feet. He's still on his feet. He's dragging a Knight defender all the way down to the 5-yard line. Are you kidding me? Tyson Younger with an explosive play to start the drive for the Longhorns. Reese, shotgun formation, steps back in the pocket to throw it across his body. Caught! Touchdown, Hodgman County. Schmidberger under center, I formation for the Knights. Play action, rolls out to his right, fires one downfield. Does he have his man? Yes, he does! Brought down past the 30-yard line in Longhorn territory. Schmidberger hands it off to Shearer. Shearer, can he do it? Yes, he can! Wyatt Schmidberger puts the nail in the coffin.
All right, go over there and get some pictures. You're on Victoria.
Well, a big thank you to Parker Nisbeth for putting together that recap. As I say, week in and week out, he does an excellent job, and this is no exception to that. Victoria came out with the win 28-14. Hodgman County was led by freshman quarterback Gavin Reese, and he connected really well with his receivers, especially Talon Shank, who really had some remarkable catches that kept Hodgman County in the game. Victoria, on the other hand, Weston Shearer, he was the one who shined on both offense and defense from start to finish. It was the Weston Shearer show on Friday night for Victoria. He was picking up sack after sack and going for big runs down the field. Victoria really boasted a heavy run offense, and they really pounded the rock, and that really played to their advantage, especially late into the game when they were able to run a lot of time off the clock. We got to speak with head coach Doug Oberly and junior running back Weston Shearer of Victoria after the game. So here are those interviews. On field after their win in the district championship against Hodgman County with head coach Doug Oberly. Coach, congrats, number one, on the win, and senior night for you guys. What does this mean, win to you and your team?
Well, I mean, obviously a big win. You know, our goals every year are to play better each and every week, find a way to win a district championship. We accomplished that goal tonight. You know, I thought our seniors stepped up and did some nice things for us tonight, so that's always nice on senior night. But certainly want to give a ton of credit to Hodgman County. Coach Hausman and his crew do a great job, and I thought his kids played their tails off tonight. So good football game. This is what you asked for this time of year. Obviously, you got two top 5 teams, so you know it was going to be a good football game, and the kids didn't disappoint. Both teams played hard tonight.
Without a doubt. Obviously, last season you guys fell short in that state championship match against Axtell. Axtell obviously had that dynasty that for the longest time. They just picked up their first loss in like 4.5 seasons last week. And so sure. What are your guys' sights set for the playoffs? Obviously, you got to take it 1 week at a time, but sure. but what does that look like, and what does that mean to you and your team?
I mean, I don't even, to be honest, I couldn't even tell. Well, I do know, I think we're playing Norwich. But I'm not thinking past Monday right now. I mean, we had a nice win. We're going to get through the weekend. We're going to look at film. We got to fix some stuff. We got to do a better job at the end of football games, and not give ourselves, you know, we're digging holes and doing things that are hurting us at the end of a football game. So we got to fix that stuff. You know, again, we got to stay healthy. We got to get better each and every week. And you know, we know going forward we're playing good teams. So I mean, we just got to come every day prepared and ready to work.
For sure. One more final question for you. Obviously, Weston Shearer had a heck of a game tonight, was playing on all cylinders, on offense and defense both, and was really just dominant on the field. Comment about his performance tonight.
You know, offensively, I thought our front did a great job. I thought we opened up holes. Hodgman County was putting 7 guys in the box at times, and so that's a lot of pressure on us. We expect a lot out of Weston, big kid who's pretty athletic. And to be honest with you, I think you saw tonight what he can do as a defensive lineman, and we've been preaching to him, you know, for the last 2 years. We moved him down to D-line, and it's a natural fit for him. He can be very, very dominant, and I think you saw that tonight. He's got to continue to grow and get better each and every week, and bright future for him.
For sure. Well, Coach, thank you so much for your time. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I just appreciate you guys coming on down.
Yeah, for sure. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
On field after their win against Hodgman County in the district championship with running back Weston Shearer. A very dominant performance from him tonight, both offensively and defensively. Talk me through your performance tonight. What was the mindset coming into this game? Obviously, senior night, a lot of emotions. Just talk me through your performance. An excellent game for you.
Well, I knew this was the last regular season game for the seniors, and I knew that we had to work hard. We came out here as a family, played together as a family, and we committed as a family.
Obviously, last season didn't end the way that you guys wanted it to. You guys lost to Axtell in the state championship. Just recently, they lost for the first time in like 4.5 seasons, and that was a pretty big loss in the world of Kansas sports. What's the sights set for the playoffs this year, and what's the mindset going into it?
We got to have the mindset that we're not the best team out there. We got to come to practice every week thinking we're the worst team in the state, and we got to work hard Monday through Thursday and have fun on Friday.
For sure. Well, thank you so much for your time, Weston. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, sir.
Congrats on the win. Moving on to the high school sports section of our show, Keisha Covered came out with their Week 9 rankings, and very little changed in the rankings this week across really all classes. Mays High School, my alma mater, stays atop the Class 6A rankings. They're 8-0. Wichita Northwest comes in at number 2. At number 3, Olathe West. Number 4, Manhattan. And then not ranked was Manhattan previously, and they jumped kind of into the rankings this week at number 5. I apologize, I'll go back. Underneath Northwest was Junction City. They're number 3 this week. So Class 6A going into the playoffs will be interesting. Obviously, May's the favorite in Class 6A, but there are definitely some very valid competition for them within Wichita Northwest, Junction City, and Manhattan as well. And of course, all of the Kansas City area 6A schools will certainly give a lot of those schools a run for their money. Going to Class 5A, St. Thomas Aquinas stays atop the rankings. Then in second, Great Bend. We talked about their big win against Hayes High School. They beat Garden City this week, so they stay at that number 2 spot. St. James Academy comes in at number 3, and number 4, Hayes High School. Number 5 is Mill Valley. Class 4A, Cape and Mount Carmel comes in at number 1. Number 2 is Eudora at 7-1. Bishop Miege comes in at number 3 at a record of 3-5. We've talked about them week in and week out. They stay in those top 5 rankings because their schedule is so tough, and they play against really tough teams, and they give them a run for their money. And that's kind of where that losing record is going to be interesting going into the playoffs, because district-wise, they didn't finish very well, so now they're going to have to play a higher seed right off the rip. So it'll be interesting to see how they perform when we get to the playoffs. Wamego comes in at number 4, and then at number 5 is Mulvane. Moving to Class 3A, of course, Andale finishes their season undefeated, 8-0. They sit at number 1. Hayden sits at number 2 at 8-0. At number 3 is Holcomb at 8-0, and number 4 is Rock Creek, and number 5 is Santa Fe Trail. Moving to Class 2A, Southeast of Saline sits at number 1 of the rankings. They finish their season 7-0. Nemaha Central also finishes their season 7-0. Hoisington comes in at number 3 at 6-0. Sabetha at number 4 at 6-1. And Osage City at number 5 at 6-1. Moving to Class 1A, Jackson Heights comes in at number 1 at 8-0. St. Mary's Colgan comes in at number 2 at 8-0. Number 3 is Sterling at 8-0. And then Rossville moves to 7-1. They are number 4 in the rankings. And then Smith Center comes in at number 5 in Class 1A at 8-0. 8-man Division 1, and this is where things that I guess I say would be more of my expertise just based on what I've been able to cover this season. So South Central stays at number 1. They are 7-0 to end the regular season. Waukene Trigo sits at 8-0 after beating Quinter this week. Linden sits at 7-0 at number 3. El Saline sits at number 4 at 7-1. And, of course, Little River, who we got to cover a few weeks back, they sit at 7-1. They moved from not ranked to ranked this week to end the regular season at number 5. Going to 8-man Division 2, of course, Hanover sits at 8-0. They had that big win against Axtell, snapping that 58-game winning streak. It was a very big turning point in the world of 8-man football as a whole, and so Hanover stays atop the rankings at 8-0. Victoria, who we got to cover this last week, of course they beat Hodgman County, moved to 8-0, and won that District 6 championship. And then Axtell comes in at number 3 at 7-1. Hutchinson Central Christian comes in at number 4 at 8-0, and then Hodgman County sneaks their way into the rankings at 7-1. Moving to 6-man, Weskin comes in at number 1 at 7-1. Cunningham at 7-1 comes in at number 2. South Barber comes in at number 3. Ingalls comes in at number 4. And Teskett comes in at number 5. We had the pleasure to get to cover the cross-country regionals for 1A in Ellis. And it was really quite a treat to get to go and see all those athletes really try to cap off an excellent regular season and really propel themselves into the playoffs, I guess, playoffs or state meet, if you will. And so we really got to kind of take a little bit of a deeper dive into some of those top athletes in their respective classes. So we released a cross-country special earlier in the week. We're going to reuse it here in this show. So here is that cross-country special for 1A regionals.
Eli Blankinship, after a 1-2 finish from the Boydston sisters, I guess this is for both of you. How are you feeling after finishing so close together and going 1-2?
Really good. I mean, we've done it all year, so but that's been our goal to go 1-2 all year. So
yeah, it's pretty exciting.
For sure. Obviously, regionals taking first and second, and then now looking into state. What's the outlook for state, and how are you guys feeling going into state?
I feel pretty good. I have confidence in us, and the goal is to go 1-2 one more time.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident, and we can just hopefully work together.
For sure. Well, congrats on going first and second. And is there anything else you guys would like to add?
I don't know. I'm really excited that we got to have our home regional meet. We don't have a home meet ever, so this is really exciting, and I'm really grateful for that. So,
just everything she said.
Yeah. Congrats, guys. Eli Blankinship after the end of the women's 1A regional meet here at Ellis Golf Course. It was a pretty excellent race. We've got the results here for that meet. Starting with the results for the individuals for the 1A girls race, Avery Boydston and Taryn Boydston. The Boydston sisters take 1 and 2 from Ellis, and then in third is Jenna Simmons from South Gray. Going to the girls team side of things, Ness City took the first in the pole position, 61 total points as a team. South Gray took second with 80 points, and Golden Plains took third with 155. Eli Blankinship at the finish line after Broxton Gall takes first in the boys 1A race. Broxton, how are you feeling after a great performance?
Pretty positive. Boys did great. The weather's amazing. I loved running in the rain, so it was just a good race.
Yeah, I saw that your team really packed it in quite a bit at the front, and it'll be interesting to see where you guys finish team standing wise. And I noticed after you were done, you immediately ran off to the sideline to kind of cheer your guys on. I guess walk me through the culture that you guys have as a team.
I got just before the 2-mile mark, and coach was like, "What do you want? Do you want to go sub 16 today, or you want to go back and cheer for the boys?" And I told him I'm here for the team. So as soon as I finished that race, I just hauled butt back to the other guys, and they let it eat today. I'm super proud of them. Gave them a little speech before the race, and I don't know if it was me or them, but they were pretty good today.
Yeah.
But.
Well, so obviously you have state coming up here right around the corner. What's the outlook for state? What's the mindset going into it?
I guess the mindset's always got to be win. Don't go to a race not expecting to win. Got to give it your all. It's our last year for a bunch of us. Most of the teams are seniors, so hopefully they realize it's their last one and they're going to let it rip.
For sure. Well, congrats on the win, Broxton. And is there anything else you'd like to add?
Great race, everybody here today. Great weather. Thank God for the opportunity we have to run. Thank God every day. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Broxton. Eli Blankinship post-race after the men's race. It's a dreary day. It's a kind of misty out here, so certainly the conditions were not the most favorable. Weather-wise, temperature-wise, I guess I should say, is certainly a lot more favorable for the runners than spectators here today. But the boys' race was quite the spectacle, and here are the results for that. Moving to the boys 1A regional standings, Broxton Gall took first, 16-23-55 for Ness City. Wyatt Sutton took second place. Ness City had the 1 and 2 runners for the boys race. Wyatt Sutton went 17:07:27, and then Kendrick Solinsky of Quinter took third at 17:10:35. So second and third pretty close between the two of them, and it really becomes a little bit more apparent when we get to the team section. For the boys team section, Quinter took first. And you see those first 1 and 2s are Ness City, but Quinter really packed in the middle of that race. They took 55 total points to take the regional title. Ness City had 67 in second, and then Meade in third had 77. Moving on to volleyball, we had really a busy week of volleyball, and especially for Quinter High School. After really dominating regionals, Quinter won their sub-state in very dramatic fashion. They played from behind multiple times throughout the tournament, and they defeated the Ringnecks of Hill City in 2-1, and then they also beat the Decatur Community 2-1, who they lost to in their final match of the regular season. So it was really a kind of a little bit of a redemption story, to say the least, for the volleyball girls at Quinter, and they really have put together quite a nice season. This is the first time in quite a while that they have been to state, and they are quite excited. So it should be very interesting to see how they do at state. I got to sit down with head coach Katie Blackwill
to visit with her about their win at Sub-State and to see what their outlook is going into state. Eli Blankinship with Tiger Media Network interviewing head coach for Quinter Volleyball, Katie Blackwill. Katie, first of all, thank you for joining us, and additionally, congrats on a sub-state victory and pushing you guys into the state tournament. How's the emotions with the team, and how are you feeling personally?
Emotions are just they're high and running, and it's crazy. We actually second guessed ourselves when we got down in that second game of the championship and we lost the first one. And I stood there just in disbelief. I was like, this isn't happening. Like, I was like, there's no way we're losing this game. And we came back and, we pulled it out and the girls were unbelievable. I mean, I'm almost still in disbelief that we're actually at this point. I mean, I told them back in May that our goal was the state tournament and here we are. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, for sure. You talk about the that you guys had to play from behind, and in Sub-State, you guys had to play from behind a couple times, and you even played that Oberlin Decatur team that you guys lost to at the very end of the regular season. I guess what was the mindset going into those matches, and what does that say, I guess, about the grit of your team?
So first of all, going into the Hill City game, I just told him, everybody's 0-0 right now. Like, records don't mean anything. It's 0-0. We just got to show up to play. And then when we were going into the Oberlin game, the championship game, the girls were like, Coach, I was so nervous that first game against Hill City. They were like, we were just so scared to make a mistake and I nervous and this and that. And I said, okay, so our focus on this game is revenge because Oberlin beat us 2 weeks ago, or it was a week and a half ago before that in the last regular season game, like you said. And I said, so focus on revenge. We are here to get revenge today. Take the stress off of that it's the sub-state championship game, that this is what's going to state, like just revenge is what we focus on. So every time out I called, every time we huddled up, it was, we're getting revenge. Just keep focus on that. Revenge, revenge, revenge. So
For sure. You guys obviously got to host that sub-state tournament and additionally regionals as well. So I guess what was it like to have your kind of community backing around you for those games? And I guess what did that mean to you guys as a team to be able to host both of those?
yeah, just looking around the gym was just amazing, seeing how full it was. And I was talking to our AD about it, and he's like, I looked around and there was hardly any empty seats. And so it was fun. It was loud. At one point, I remember trying to yell at one of my girls so she could hear me because I needed to tell her to scoot back when she served because she was so close to going over the line. And just it was just fun to have that support from the community. I questioned whether we should have Fort Hayes come out and broadcast because I was like, I want people in the stands, and some of the other people were like, yeah, we want people there. And so I was so thankful that people didn't do the easy route of just sitting at home and watching for free. They paid the money to come support the girls in person, and it meant a lot to all of us.
For sure. And I think it really, in my eyes at least, it's a testament to the kind of close knit and the support that your community has for the high school and additionally for the athletics as well. Especially Quinter as a whole, it's been nothing but hospitality from our perspective at least, with just the broadcasting side of it. So.
Good. Yeah, we have definitely a good backing for all athletics and activities and stuff. We travel well, we always say. The girls and the boys made it to state last year in basketball. And I mean, I don't think there was hardly anybody left in town. I mean, almost everybody, it seemed like, went to support those teams. So, yeah.
Obviously, as a head coach, you're getting the opportunity to coach your daughter. What does that mean to you, and what has that experience been like?
Oh, it's been just melts my heart, honestly. uh, she, like I've said before in our interviews, that she came to me after the coach last year resigned, and she was just like, Mom, you have to do it. You have to do it. Like, nobody else can do it. And, I think at times she might second guess her begging me to do it. Like, oh my gosh, yes, I have to deal with my mom, not just mom, but as a coach. And there might be times that I'm harder on her than anybody else, or I use her as an example, but I know she can handle it. So, but just the experience of doing this and her first state volleyball trip is, and I'm a part of it. I'm not just mom, I'm coach too. I was talking to somebody else today about it, about it's kind of crazy being coach and mom. You know, like I'm in the mom group of, hey, we got to get all this stuff ready for the girls. And then I'm also the coach of, okay, here's our itinerary and I got to do this and this and this. And it's been kind of a whirlwind here since Saturday night. So,
I can imagine so.
yeah.
Well, I guess obviously the goal was to get the state. You've made it to state, and now what is the mindset going into this state tournament? Obviously, the competition is going to be very tough, and that's the way it goes when you get to that state level. I guess what is the mindset going into it, and what are the expectations?
I told the girls yesterday in practice, I said, we have nothing to lose. Like, nothing to lose. We aren't the defending state champions. We weren't here last year. We have nothing to lose. We just need to go in, we need to compete, and we need to just show up and do our best and not get down and ultimately have fun, enjoy the experience and have fun.
For sure. Well, Coach, thank you once again for joining us on the show this week, and best of luck to you and your team. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I just thank you for all that you guys do and the broadcasting. We really appreciate it. And go to Bulldogs.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity.
Yep, thank you.
Moving to the area game of the week reveal, we have Central Plains this week taking on Sylvan Lucas. And it should be very entertaining. We've gotten to cover both of these schools throughout the year. Central Plains, they sit at 5-3. And it's really interesting because their one notable loss early in the year was to Victoria. And they struggled really in their last 2 weeks of the season with losses to both Little River, which we got to cover that game, and then El Saline in week 8. And so they really had a tough end to their schedule. So they'll be sure to really be looking for that redemption and trying to bounce back as they enter the final stretch of their season. Obviously, on the other side of things, well, you have junior Brody Kreitz that really, his performance as a quarterback for the Oilers was really the bright spot in their matchup when we covered the game versus Little River. So he'll certainly be one to keep an eye on going into this matchup against Sylvan Lucas. And it should be interesting to see how Central Plains can kind of bounce back as they take on the playoffs. Obviously, Sylvan Lucas, a very talented football team. We got to cover their dominant win versus Lakeside in week 5. Since that win, they've been 2-1 with their only loss on the season coming to a very talented Lincoln team. They lost 62-36, so a pretty high scoring game. The player to keep an eye on in this matchup for the Mustangs will be number 15, Zane Maupin, who has been a very dominant running back for Sylvan Lucas this season. We got to interview him in that game where they took on the Lakeside Knights, and it was a pretty dominant performance from him. So if you want to go back and watch that one, be sure to check that one out. It was a very, as I said, dominant performance from Zane Maupin, and he got to speak with us after the game and gave us an interview, and so it was really good to get to chat with him. Should be a good one this Thursday night, not Friday, Thursday night. So make sure that's in your head and ingrained. Thursday night, coverage will begin at 6:30 on the Tiger Media Network YouTube channel. Until then, I'm Eli Blankinship saying farewell and so long.